Turning to the Belize Guatemala issue, on Monday, July 27, a press briefing was held with the foreign ministers of Belize and Guatemala being at the head table to answer questions posed by the media, as well as to update them on the current relations between both countries. One of the sticking points that came out of that briefing was a statement made by the Guatemalan Foreign Minister, Carlos Raul Morales.
We agree of the confidence-building measures. The first one was in 2000 and the second one in 2005. We took the decision to do not increase the military bases in the vicinity of both countries, with the objective to avoid incidents, and this is important to understand. And we agreed to work together on all security initiatives. This morning, Your Excellency, Minister Arlington, we had a very good meeting, an excellent meeting, and he told me that this is not going to be a military base. It is going to be a Coast Guard base that depends on the police. What we want exactly is to avoid incidents, because it is demonstrated that every time there is an incident, it damages the bilateral relation. And I am very sure that the Belizean population and the Guatemalan population, they don't want to be enemies. They don't want to feel nothing bad against the other country. And every time we have an incident, every time a person dies in Belize or in Guatemala, there is a very bad spirit against the other country. Then we agreed this morning to work on a protocol between both countries to have control of this area, of the Amatique Bay, right south by the Sarstoon area. And again, what we are trying to do is to apply this agreement that we signed in 2000 and 2005, the confidence building measure, to do not increase the military presence in the area, in the vicinity of both countries, just to avoid incidents. In this case, again, Minister Arlington explained to me that this is going to be a Coast Guard base, and we will work on a protocol to try to coordinate our actions between both countries in the area.
While others did take note of the error in that statement, the opposition was the one that issued a release 3 days later, officially disputing the minister's statement, saying that nowhere in the document does it state that military bases would not be built in the area. We asked the Prime Minister to weigh in on the matter.
I completely accept that he misspoke, and I think he does too. The records are there, and it is a fact that there's not that kind of language. I also understood him to say, though, that he accepts as well that what we mean to do with the forward operating base is not to be viewed by them as any kind of a threat. This is for purposes of our internal security arrangements, and indeed we invite them to coordinate with us so that the illegal fishing and other illegal activities that clearly take place in the area might be more effectively interdicted. Look, the Americans in particular, who have this overriding interest in Central American security, and especially in the trafficking in drugs, are aboard, are very much aware of what we wish to do and supportive. And I believe that at the military level there is understanding on the part of the Guatemalan officials. Now, at the political level, it seems to me that there is also agreement, and so we will proceed.
Also weighing in on the issue was Commander David Jones of the Belize Defense Force, who also confirmed that the Guatemalan foreign minister was mistaken when he made reference to the confidence building measures.
In the confidence building measures, it doesn't specifically say that we're restricted from constructing military bases along the border. What I do recall is in the confidence building measures is that the other nation, each nation is not supposed to be expressing or showing that they're exerting their sovereignty over the other, but it doesn't restrict us from actually constructing other bases. The measures primarily address the western portion of the border from up Arenal down to south where Cadenas is, but it didn't really specifically address the area of the Sarstoon, which is the southern border with us and Guatemala. But just out of matter of courtesy, if we are going to do anything similar in regards to the confidence building measures on the west, if Guatemalan patrols are near the border or if Belizean patrols are near the border, we do inform each other. So it wasn't expressly so for the Sarstoon. However, out of a matter of courtesy, we do consult with each other, and we regularly consult with them, and we discuss with them really to let them know of operations that are happening along the border, just to let them know that there are Belizean troops in the Sarstoon, because there are a lot of illegal activities that occur within the Sarstoon. It could be Honduran, Salvadoran, all the way from South America, that illicit activity traverses through the Sarstoon. So it's only prudent that we talk to each other and try to work together inside the Sarstoon. And that's what we're trying to achieve with the Guatemalans, to work with them jointly in the Sarstoon, because it's of both of our interests. I wouldn't be able to say precisely that, yes, he misled the people. That would have to be answered by him. He read the confidence building measures. He probably has a different interpretation from what we have here in Belize. From what we interpreted, we're aware that, and I'm quite sure, it didn't specifically say that we are restricted from constructing military bases on either side. But just as a matter of not exerting sovereignty, it's just a matter of discussing with each other.
But with all talks about the construction of a forward operating base, we found it pertinent to ask Jones what the purpose of the base is and how important is it.
That base is particularly important because there is a lot of narco-traffic activity that occurs in the Sarstoon. North of the central line that runs through the river belongs to Belize in our mind, and south in their mind belongs to them. So if anything occurs north of the river, technically they don't have any rights or jurisdiction to interdict anything that happens there. And it's the same for us. If anything happens south of the median line, we don't have that jurisdiction. So it's only sensible that both of us has a base there, and both of us work jointly together to interdict whatever comes through the Sarstoon. We traverse that river every week because we have an observation post that goes to Cadenas where our BDF patrol has to pass through there. If a Coast Guard base is there, we talk with them, we work with them. And the eventuality is that and our intent is to have the BDF there as well. So BDF and Coast Guard can work there jointly. So that is going to happen.
While there is no timeline for the forward operating base to be constructed, the media did ask the Prime Minister about the financial aspect to the construction.
I haven't yet been approached for the funds, and I believe that especially because, as I understand it, there is now this willingness on the part of the Guatemalans to collaborate with Belize in the same way as on land there are link-ups, joint patrols, that sort of thing. Because there's now that willingness that has been formally expressed, I think it might take a little while longer for them to work out the two countries, the logistics of the exercises that will take place in the area. So I can't really give a timeline.
Love News understands that the base will be constructed at a time to be determined and will have the joint presence of Belize Defence Force soldiers and members of the Belize Coast Guard.